Vilacheri Ranga Iyer. Love has many facets. It is supreme and expressed in many dimensions. A jnani, a person of spiritual wisdom, is an inexhaustible repository of love. All his actions reflect the myriad aspects of his unconditional love. In Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi's relationships with his devotees, we see many different aspects of this love. With devotees like Vilacheri Ranga Iyer, we see the Guru in his aspect of a loving friend. Even as a toddler, Bhagwan had the traits of nobility: equal sharing, accepting responsibilities, and keeping promises. Back home after playing outside, he would bring a few of his playmates to drink milk from his mother. Usually children are jealous, but Bhagwan would go out of his way and bring his friends home, saying, "Come on, let us have milk." What a strong bond of friendship and sharing this. One of these friends, Meenakshi, was just 1.5 years old and lived in a neighboring house. After some years, Meenakshi married but did not have a very happy married life. However, all the while, she kept worshipping Bhagwan in her heart. She never came to see Bhagwan because she could not. In the 1940s, when she was bedridden with age, Bhagwan simply appeared where she was, just as he did for Nayana. Sitting by her bedside, he touched Meenakshi. She was in coma, but regained consciousness at his touch and exclaimed, "My God, my Lord, Ramana, you have come to bless me." These were her last words. This is the highest example of friendship. Though they shared mother's milk way back in infancy and never met after that, Bhagwan remained a loyal friend and remembered Meenakshi in her last days. Lakshmi was another fortunate friend of Bhagwan who shared milk with him at the age of 2. She was eventually widowed and led a life tattered by pain and suffering. Bhagwan's name and recognition had spread by then. One day Bhagwan was seated in the hall, surrounded by well-known devotees and scholars. Lakshmi, thin, dark, and unrecognizable in her 60s, stood in front of him among 200 people and demurely asked, "I do not know whether Bhagwan recognizes me." "Why not? Are you not Lakshmi? Did we not drink milk together?" The master recalled his childhood friend even after 60 years. Bhagwan personified wisdom and was like a diamond. We value a diamond because its clarity shines from every angle we examine it. Any page taken out of Bhagwan's life and teachings sparkles with this clarity. Many people who pay attention to Bhagwan's teachings would do well to be aware of Bhagwan's aspect of friendship. His relationship with his devotee friends is a revealing one. While they viewed him as an enlightened sage, Bhagwan viewed him as his friends from childhood. Two of Bhagwan's prominent devotee friends had two factors in common. They were steeped in family life and deeply attached to their worldly duties. It is inspiring to see how Bhagwan related to these people. He didn't ask them to give up their family ties and take up a spiritual life. Instead, he went along with them. But when they became tired and exhausted with their worldly attachments, he gently drew them to himself. His friends came to him with complaints about their family life. In spite of the mundane nature of their problems, the young Bhagwan listened to them and solved them as a true friend. He didn't just offer them counsel, but actually took upon himself the responsibility of removing every suffering as if they were his own. Vilacheri Ranga Iyer, also known as Rangan, lived in Tiruchudi, Bhagwan's birthplace. He was Bhagwan's classmate and childhood friend. Bhagwan's family and Rangan's family moved to Madurai around the same time, and the two boys continued to be close friends until Bhagwan ran away to Arunachala. It was 1903 when Rangan first came to know about Bhagwan's whereabouts in Arunachala. However, being tied down by family responsibilities, he could not come and see him immediately. After a few years, when Bhagwan was at Virupaksha cave, he finally paid him a visit. Sri Bhagwan greeted Rangan with an affectionate gesture of friendship, a punch to his shoulder. At first, Rangan could only view Bhagwan as his friend Venkataraman. He demanded, "Hey Venkataraman, even the evening before you left Madurai, we were playing football. I am supposed to be your closest friend. Why did you not tell me that you were going away the next day?" Bhagwan replied, "Ranga, Did I travel like a normal traveler with baggage and all that? It was a supreme force which drew me that day to Arunachala. Where was there room for any formalities to be observed? Bhagwan looked steadily at him, and immediately Rangan could see that he was no more just Venkataraman, his friend, his classmate, the football player, or his mate in the swimming pool. Bhagwan had been an excellent swimmer, football player and wrestler. Those who have seen Bhagwan then say that Bhagwan was a six-footer and had a very strong physique. Bhagwan was well built for a Brahmin boy. Until the age of 16, when Bhagwan had the ego-death experience, he never had a headache, stomachache or any ailment. So robust was his body. However, after his Patala Linga experience in Arunachala temple, his body was worn by neglect. Rangan could see this change in Bhagwan. The master had by now become somewhat legendary and a few devotees had already gathered there. Yet, when Rangan came to Virupaksha cave, Bhagwan treated him with the same love. Their relationship was beautiful. It was that of a fully awakened man, a sage of wisdom, and an ignorant man steeped in family sufferings, not spiritually inclined but with a deep love for Bhagwan. The master appreciated the depth of that friendship and would sit next to his friend by his bedside. Seeing him tossing and turning, weighed down by his problems, Bhagwan would pat him and ask, "Hey Ranga, what is bothering you?" One day Rangan told him about his troubles. "Have you given enough to your family to live on while you have come away here?" Rangan was silent, too embarrassed to admit his inability to provide for his family. "So you have some financial problems," Bhagwan surmised. "Is it enough if you get 10,000 rupees? This was a huge amount in those days, and it surprised Rangan to hear Bhagwan talking about money. Bhagwan pressed on, "Will that solve all your problems?" Rangan remained quiet and after a few days took leave of Bhagwan and went to Chennai. He managed to get a sales job selling trucks and buses. When he got his commission, it was exactly 10,000 rupees. Once his son was bitten by a snake and people thought he was dead. He remembered that Bhagwan had given him sacred ash. Probably Rangan would have asked Bhagwan for some prasad, and Bhagwan would have offered him sacred ash. Bhagwan rarely gave anything as prasad of his own accord. He told his grieving wife and relatives, "Do not worry, my Bhagwan, my friend is there." He smeared the sacred ash on his son while chanting "Ramana, Ramana, Ramana, Ramana." The boy recovered. Then there was the incident when his eldest daughter became mentally unbalanced. Her husband could no longer take care of her and left her in Rangan's care. Rangan had one solution for all his problems, Bhagwan. He wrote a letter to him and soon received a reply from the ashram saying, "Your letter was shown to Bhagwan and he held it for a long time. He asked us to write back that she will be all right." On another occasion, his other daughter fell into a well. When they got her out, she was thought to be dead. Everyone began to weep, except Rangan, who had faith in his friend. He had the cure-all medicine, Bhagwan's sacred ash. He smeared it on her and sure enough, she recovered. Once Rangan's wife Chellamma went to Ramanashram to have Bhagwan's darshan. All the devotees proceeded from the ashram to walk around the hill. Chellamma left the hall with the others but came back only to go around the old hall a few times. Bhagwan was surprised. "How come you returned so quickly?" he asked. Chellamma replied, "No, Bhagwan, all the others have left for Giri Pradikshina, but I could not join them as I have a problem with my back. I thought that I will do Pradikshina of you instead." Bhagwan arranged for an injection to be given by the ashram doctor, Dr. M.R. Krishnamurti Iyer. Doctor advised Chellamma to rest in the guest house. However, she could not resist being in Bhagwan's presence for even a few minutes. She managed to slowly reach Bhagwan's hall, making her husband really worried. Bhagwan just lifted his hand in blessing and Chellamma was healed of her back pain. It never came back again. This aspect of Bhagwan was unique because he had rarely done these things for anyone else. Talk about money, give sacred ash, and raise his hand to heal. He came to these realms for a true friend. What is friendship? It is a deep facet of love. And what is love? Love is wisdom, jnana, and Bhagwan was the king of jnana. Rangan was very special, indeed. His friendship with Rangan was not limited to the experiences at Virupaksha cave. At times while Rangan lay in bed, Bhagwan would wake him up at 2 in the morning and say, "Come on, let's go for a swim." Before the present Ramanashram was built, there was a small pool behind. So with Rangan, Bhagwan sometimes became Venkataraman again. In their childhood days in Madurai, Bhagwan would tease Rangan with a sharp underwater kick on the thigh.